Kia ora, everyone. Welcome to the anniversary episode. I'm Horse Fry, and I'm joined here by
As Corey over here.
And Horse Cam. Yay!
Yay. Yeah, I guess we're just here to look back on the year. This year we released 14 episodes, one of which was a clip episode that Des put together.
The clip episode, though, is
But, I mean,
I love the clip episode.
it is pretty peak, right? Like,
Yeah.
it is, yeah. I think I watched it like 5 times. If I recall correctly, it came out like when I was doing, like, I had to do a work trip where the plane had to turn around halfway and go back, and then they put us on a bus. And it was like an 8-hour bus drive. And like, I watched that clip episode like 10 times in a row. And then I'd do something else, and I'd watch it 10 more times in a row.
Yeah, it was great.
But yeah, 14 episodes this year, or 14 videos this year, 13 episodes. Des edited 9 of them. I edited 2.
I edited 1.
It's not my best effort.
Technically 2 if you count this episode.
I did it.
We count it.
Yeah,
it's this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm starting to take over on majority of the editing, because Des is getting more busy as time goes on, because he's out of school and doing actual work, like an actual loser.
Yeah.
Working sucks.
Yeah.
Where now I'm in school.
I mean, yeah.
But I'm in school to do editing and podcast production, so it's I'm learning and cool. making the show. And making this show, I want to put more focus on this show, because I was only in 2 episodes this last year. Because this last year was a bit weird for me personally, which I don't want to go into on here, but it's just been a weird year. I think it's a weird year for a majority of us, but like hopefully this upcoming year will be a lot better.
Yeah, I would love to record more book clubs this upcoming year, definitely.
Where are we on the book club?
It's
I
the book club.
believe
I think
we
we're
are
still EP6, mid EP6.
EP6 for Umineko. I believe the Higurashi Bookclub is
really close to finishing chapter 1. Oh, 2/3.
Which I'm so excited. I've read and gone through the first arc of Higurashi so many times. I know it too well at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can't wait to get back into it.
Yeah, it's really getting into the good bit too. Like, not to say the first bit isn't good. There are some sus bits, but like the first bit is still really good. I think we've talked about that for quite a few episodes. Speaking of the Higurashi Book Club, though, that has been like, I wouldn't call it a highlight of the year, but it is definitely a light of the year, probably a low light. Editing Higurashi Book Club, I think 5 is the latest. That took everything out of me this year. I don't know if I can fully remember. It's been 6 months between Higurashi Book Club 4 and Higurashi Book Club 5. Higurashi Book Club 5 would not render. Yeah. And I don't know what it was.
Oh no!
Like it was like painful, honestly. Like the audio is one thing, and like you mentioned like and Des has left some notes as well that I'll read later on. But like Des obviously has like he's started working, and he's like he's got other things in his life, and that's always fair. My life is pretty much exactly the same, but like I don't know. I haven't felt it this year, and it's not my. I love this podcast. It's like probably one of the things I'm proudest of being part of. But I don't know. Just I just haven't had the energy for editing and stuff.
Yeah, editing is an interesting energy to have.
That was one thing.
Yeah, because getting the energy to edit is really weird. Because like I've been editing. If I remember correctly, this episode, this recording will be either in front of the forgery episode, making this is going to be a really long one, or just separate. Yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out as I'm editing. But like the forgery episode, which I'm editing, is A hunk, because I wanted to edit today. I've been editing peacefully today, but like I've had a headache all day, and it's like really rough to be like going through it, especially the way I have my flow now. Like there are some parts of editing I find really annoying when something desyncs. Oh, it pisses me the hell off.
Ooh,
when
that's
like,
the worst. Yeah.
Because, like, sometimes it's either just the fact that, like, I either assumed somebody's responding to something that isn't actually what they're responding to, so it desyncs that way, or I just edited out something but didn't do it to someone's track. Yeah. It's the worst. And I think I figured out a way to fix it by just having a complete track of everybody's, because I forget, I sync it at the beginning, so what I just did was I synced it at the beginning and then exported that audio to sync it to. Then I export it to sync it to, so I know how the conversation actually went when I'm editing, because I don't want to, in case I don't accidentally screw myself.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, that's very smart.
Done that before.
I think that's what I did with Wholesome Crew. Was like I did it with Craig.
Right. That's a really good idea. I would say like the desync thing. Definitely, I think part of it is like Discord. And it's not even Discord. Like, because like when we talk, I think we're fairly good. Like, and there'll just be like 1 or 2 moments throughout the conversation where someone will cut out and we'll be like, "What did you say? We couldn't hear you." But like, I think Discord does a lot of heavy lifting in the background, trying to sync people up if they delay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It'll slow you down and speed you up to like get everyone like feeling like they're having a conversation. But the problem is everyone at home is just like clicking record.
Yeah, because it's our raw audio from our mics. Oh, I'm peeking. It's just raw audio from our mics, and it's like can be really rough, and especially like when editing, because like because Discord, everyone sounds pretty fine on Discord. Oh, hello.
Hey, Mushroom.
Hello, Mushroom.
A wild mushroom appeared.
Or did appear. We are recorded, but you are welcome to join us if you want.
Yeah.
We can just pause the recording.
I'll count you in as well. I'll count you in. 3, 2, 1. Press record. Have we got you in, Mushroom?
Yep.
Okay. That's
sweet.
Welcome to the call.
All right. Well,
yay.
Welcoming Mushroom to the call.
Hello.
Just drop Mushroom.
What were we talking about before?
Oh yeah, we were talking about the editing process and like how editing can be.
That's right.
Kind of draining.
Editing for this podcast is honestly kind of intense for how much low effort it looks like to other people. As a person who actually did a lot of editing in the first 2 years of podcasts, I did actually a funny story. I was recently looking at my 2T hard drive and having to just basically delete a bunch of things off of my 2T hard drive to just clear out some space. And I can actually tell you right now how big my folder for podcasting is actually. Let me go check.
I can check mine as well because I
can only imagine.
I know it blows up because
oh god, I think
I only have a 500 gig hard drive. And, I'd have to do that very regularly.
Oh my god, I think I actually deleted most of them. I remember it was like 85 gigs basically worth of like random shit I had for this podcast, and I just it's quite funny.
Oh boy.
It's like the audio tracks alone can be upwards of like 20 or 30 gigs sometimes.
Mine is currently 200 and still going. Oh, it's 258. That's my full recording drive.
Yeah.
Some of it's not all of it. Not all of it is When We Cry. Some of it is Wholesome Crew. And some of it in editing. So a lot of it's just because I have multiple copies because of editing.
Oh no, I totally understand. It's quite funny because do all of you all edit inside of Audacity first, or do you edit somewhere else first?
I always edit in
Audacity. I do Audacity. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know Des does it in Premiere.
Yeah, I have zero idea why he does that. Like, it sounds like something that just will explode your computer. Like, a 2-hour-long project in a Premiere file, like, no thank you.
And also, like, I don't like using Premiere that much. I don't like using video editing because it's just like there's so much stuff going on that my computer can't handle easily. that I just don't want to deal with. And two,
Wait. Sorry, are you saying
it's much
Des
easier to do it at the end.
Sorry. Are you saying Des edits the audio on a video editor?
Yes.
Yes.
Because he's like a psycho.
Because he's like he does that.
That is. I mean,
I get it, right? You could do everything from start to finish. Like, you don't have to listen.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, I don't listen to the whole thing.
It's still the same thing,
but
like, you know. It's just so much easier to use an audio editor or a DAW.
Yeah. Audacity is nice.
I don't know where I would find the tools.
I just have so much respect for all of you guys who edit. Must be such a labor-intensive
It's funny
process.
because Des used to make fun of me all the time to call me a sloppier editor than he is. And he would be like, oh, there's like this pause here for 3 seconds that you didn't edit out. And I'm like, I will kill you, Des. One day when I meet you, I'll kill you.
I mean, I don't edit the pauses out. I mostly shorten pauses because a lot of the pauses are just Discord stuff, usually because of Discord, not because of like actual thing. Some of them are an actual silence, which like it's gonna be weird. It's weirder to actually edit out actual silence because it makes everyone's talk.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
A lot of the editing I used to do for this podcast is actually I would get too in the weeds of trying to edit out a bunch of stupid sounds I make in the middle of a thing. So I would be like, I'm just going to, edit out the ahs and ums. And then it just becomes like a so much more labor-intensive process when you actually... I think there's actually pretty amazing movie magic or audio magic I've done on some episodes where I'm like, those two are separate conversations. I just cut 20 minutes in the chunk of that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
The episode that was just released, the Ciconia debate, I cut out a whole thing where I was talking about spoilers at the beginning of the episode because I was like, one, I don't remember what I was talking about that much to the point where like it didn't matter to the conversation and to the and like since I was half remembering it just was like came off weird and it was spoilers for something relatively recent, so I didn't want to actually get into it.
I understand. Honestly speaking, I feel like I spend half of my time editing to make myself sound smarter, or like make other people sound smarter, or more coherent,
or to prove Des wrong.
Yeah, like I feel very self-conscious when I edit, because like I'm like, wow, I have to cut this out because one, I said something I thought was half funny at the time. No one responded to it, so I feel no one responded to it. Now I don't even think it's funny anymore. And it's really great.
That's actually really funny because I forget. Oftentimes, Des would like message me and was like, "Oh my god, like I don't know, Horsefly said something super funny here, and nobody heard him, and then nobody reacted."
That happens all the time because I was editing something and I think Des said something like really funny, and I was like, "Oh, no one said anything about that," and I definitely didn't hear it while recording. Because like if I'm there recording, it's different than when editing because I hear everything. I'm like, do I edit this?
We just gotta record ourselves laughing to put on those moments. We just
that's good.
No, that's exactly what you grab laughter from somewhere else where like people are laughing for no reason and you just move it.
It's so sad because there's just
so there you go. I gave you one. I just laughed for no reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's kind of sad that like a lot of times like you get to hear in recording, you get to hear like such funny things people say that completely just gets unnoticed or unsung. But yes, also like sometimes I do just listen to a recording and I'm like, oh my god, why am I rambling? What am I getting to? Like, it's quite funny that way.
I think the power of the editor can go to your head a little bit. I was watching back one of the, I think it might have been one of the Higurashi Bookclubs, either that or it was one of the data archives. But like I was going off on some like random it was about Final Fantasy 13 or something. And like I said something wrong. I said Final Fantasy 13 when I was supposed to say Final Fantasy 13 too. And I had this whole like cut in of like editor Horsefry being like, oh, I meant to say this and this was meant to be the point of the, but like it does kind of kill the momentum of the story.
Yeah.
So Like,
nothing is funnier.
I try not to do that so much anymore.
Try to win an argument that you already said.
Yeah. I'll never forget that episode before I joined, but it was like Des came in at the end with like as a post edit like final word.
Des's corrections.
It was the who what should you watch first, Higurashi or Umineko? And like
that was really good.
It was like Des versus 3 people, and like at the end he like tried to make a point, and then you guys made a final point, and then you were all gonna sign off, and then Des came back in and was like, okay, I don't think I was quite clear enough, so here's my clarification.
Des was like, actually, I just get to have the final words. I do. It's actually quite funny. To actually revisit if you should read Higurashi or Umineko first. I honestly speaking feel like after all this time, I have definitely reversed my stance. I think you should read Umineko first and then Higurashi, which is realistically speaking actually how I enjoyed Higurashi way more. Like I have watched the Higurashi anime and I have read the Higurashi manga, but I've never read the BN until like, I don't know, like 3 years ago, which is like 10 years after I finished Umineko. And the answer is that like, oh god, I enjoyed Higurashi so much more. Like, because I know, like, the history and, like, what Yukishi will developed into, like, it's kind of fascinating. So, like, I am totally, like, supportive of Des now, despite of the fact that I, like, vehemently argued against him and destroyed him on that episode.
I mean, we should probably do, like, a redux of, like, the whole what should you read first, because like how many years ago was that, like 2 years ago?
That's like one of our first episodes, like one of the first episodes we did. I think it's like 4 years ago.
It was one when I joined, I was like, I'd actually be keen to redo that one because I feel like because of the way it happened, Des comes in, he's like, all right, I've organized 2 teams. I've organized 2 people on the Higurashi first side, organized 2 people on the Umineko side. But it turned out that I think it was you, Mushroom,
yes,
who like, he thought
misremembered what
Umineko
team I was supposed to be on.
And then you were like, what? No, I'm on the Higurashi first. What are you talking? And so the whole thing was like a 3 versus 1 in a way.
Yeah, it was very funny.
Like,
and that episode is just really funny.
It made for very good content. But
the other one I keep thinking about is EP9, us talking about EP9, because like current day, I think I would like absolutely destroy the
that's also really
I think to this day I haven't seen that episode.
Oh.
Because I also haven't read EP9.
Well, actually,
EP9 is a very special story that tries to say very good things, but fails.
Yeah. Well, actually, if we want to, we should look at all the old episodes and say which of the episodes we would really want to redo to see if we can like eventually do. Like, I mean, it's kind of insane to think about how many episodes we have that has actually been on this podcast. I don't know. I feel like I've just somehow been here for so long. And
this is 4 years. So like we went through an entire, I guess, presidency, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
And that makes sense because Higurashi Go was the thing that really, I think, like brought a lot of people back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Higurashi. Well, we didn't start this because of the new Higurashi series. I think it was somewhat
but
unrelated.
It brought a lot of people into the
fandom. Yeah, true.
Because even at the time, we didn't even know Go was Go. We thought it was just Higurashi remake.
New.
Yeah, speaking about remakes, you know how Yukishi keeps coming being like, sweetie, I'm gonna announce something on like the Umineko Day, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking stab you to death. What the fuck are you gonna do?
The only thing he can ever redeem us in doing announcements is just if he just says, hey guys, phase 2 is out right now. That's the only thing he needs to do. Redeem himself. Just shadow drop phase 2, that's it.
I swear, if Witch Hunt translated phase 2 and didn't leak it for all of us, I feel like we deserve that.
Please, Witch Hunt.
Yeah.
Witch Hunt. I need like somebody who just do like a WikiLeaks style. Like I just need to fucking know, man. Like what do you like? Yukishi is kind of insane to think about. Like that man was like, sleeping 5 hours a day, 15 years ago, he slept 5 hours a day, went to his job to, work as a social worker, came back writing for 5 hours, and then doing that over and over again for like 10 fucking years. Like, he banged out Umineko in like fucking 6 years or something?
3 years.
Like, 4 or 6 years or something? Like he used
less than that. It was 2 a year about.
Yeah, 2 a year. Like, he was like a total fucking powerhouse of a writer, and then he wrote like one Ciconia and then got cold feet because I guess like Jesus came down and stole all his fucking ideas and gave everybody COVID. Like,
oh no,
it's so insane. I don't know why.
Yeah, now he's writing Silent Hill, which who knows will not come out.
But yeah, I don't know.
I do a Higurashi Go though evaluation.
Yeah, because like I
episode
don't.
by
But the
episode.
problem was with like Higurashi Go. If we do another, like we did like Higurashi Go like 4 years after, I feel like it would be like a 7-hour episode because it's like I have a lot to say about that show, even though I probably don't. But I feel like if we do talk about it, it'll end up being like a 5-hour episode. It's just like there's so much wrong with Go.
It's like it's the
But we
Sotsu
also have to talk about
retrospective.
Meguri, I feel like, which finished recently.
Oh yeah, I haven't really because I did read the Go manga up until it finished Go, but I never really read the second half where it actually got into Sotsu.
So have you read it?
No.
I have, yes.
How is it? What, like, just for like not spoilery, your own thoughts about like what you think it is.
It does Satoko's motivations a lot better in return for, it made Satoko more sympathetic while also getting rid of any real reason that she was looping.
That's actually
Wait, does it get rid
wild.
of Aura? Whatever her name was? How do you say the not feathery name?
Ayua.
Not feathery. I'll just say
Not
that.
feathery.
Honestly, Meguri's not that long. It's a pretty quick read.
Yeah, because it wasn't releasing
they don't...
every 2 weeks, but like half a chapter. That's why it took so long.
Yeah, and they don't do all of the old answer arcs like the anime did. So
thank fucking
they can
Christ.
get right into new stuff.
Yeah. Sosu is just really bad. And I feel bad that Sosu exists. Like, I genuinely think Sosu killed my motivation. Like, you could see my I think if you watch the Sosu log, I think you could see my motivation for the series just die. Because, like, I was so enjoying it, even though it was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Sosu just was like, oh, this is just the same thing, and I don't care anymore. It's not fun anymore.
It's actually really funny, Hirschcam, you say that, because Des was incredibly kind and shielded me from knowing anything that was going to happen at Sotsu and Go, and I watched like 6 episodes in total, which is collectively people would decided on the 6th episode that had any worth of substance in it. And the funny thing about that is that like due to the fact that I didn't watch Sotsugo, I had the best experience reading Higurashi's VN and like falling in love with actually falling in love with Satoko. And it was just so funny because like I remember like when I was talking to you long time ago, like I guess like first year of the podcast, you were telling me how much you like really like Satoko as a character, and like I remember just being like, yeah, I don't fucking get it, but I also didn't read the VN at the time, and I was like, actually reading like chapter 3, like I got to read chapter 3 3 times this year, and chapter 3 like so hits me in a way that's so personal and makes me like so mad in a way that I was like, oh, I get it. Like everything snaps together. And now I like think about it, I was like, oh, I really did just like lucked out and didn't look at Setsugo, because I think like now knowing what I know now, like what Setsugo did to Satoko was like so fucked up.
I think it's a interesting concept to take like someone like Satoko's trauma and say that like, oh, she really didn't have adequate time/resources to process, therefore leading to cycle of trauma type thing a la Umineko. But it was still fucked up.
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't really get the point, and the ending is. I feel like the ending, if it ended in the joke way of like just doing the basically how Umineko ends with Burn and Lambda, I think it would have just been like, oh, we'll just see each other again when something else cries, and like, oh my god, they're actually Burn and Lambda, ha 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 ha. Like, if that was like the joke, I think it would have been a better ending than what we actually got, which makes sort of no sense. At least from my memory, I don't really think I liked the ending of Sotsu that well. Because it just kind of puts pause in the whole situation instead of actually resolving it in a way that makes sense and feels
well. They had their Dragon Ball Z fight, didn't they?
Yes, that was a great time. If you haven't seen the Sotsu reactions on our channel, go watch them because
they're really funny.
I think I watch it every few months because like it's so great watching our reactions to the episodes. Every time, because when we get to the final episode and the whole fight happens and we're just laughing like monkeys. Like there's a thing that I think Yinsid made that I think we either he posted on his Twitter or we posted on our Twitter that like of just us just laughing to Satoko just murdering Rika over and over. It's just so funny. It's not. It's one of my favorite, only good memories of Sotsu is that reaction episode, which technically Des did record without our consent at the time.
Oh, really?
Well, you can't blame Des. Des has the most content brain of all time.
Yes. I mean, we didn't know because we didn't figure we were gonna react to it in the thing because because I think usually after the episode we record our thoughts on it at least like an hour later. At least if it was the week that we were recording.
Maybe I'm missing out. Maybe I should watch Go Sotsu just so I can.
For our 7-hour podcast episode.
The Go Sotsu logs.
How about this? We just basically do a Sotsugo book club, like watch party again, but this time we send our horse race experience so we can go through and live through. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, like I do know that like I know like Kirby was watching Go again recently, making Sayome watch Go again. Like that was interesting thing to read about. Like apparently like they got like a week ago they got like they were up really late and they decided to watch Go for some reason. Didn't get their reactions from their immediate reactions, but I thought it was really funny. I think I just responded to them when they said that to, why are you watching Go? Just why? There's no reason to.
I love looking at the Go thumbnails. Enough Go Toko, and it's Satoko bonking Satoko in the head with a bat, or you're not my Rika promoted into the bitch class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the thumbnails are their own.
Yeah,
special
I
art.
love the thumbnails, and I genuinely like. Even though I'm taking over on most of the editing now, like, I really hope Des still does the thumbnails because, like, I don't know how to do any of the good thumbnails like he does.
Des is funny. I feel like I am not a creatively funny person.
Yeah.
I think there's like difference between like somebody who's very good at art but somebody who like knows how to make things that are funny. Like I would pick myself as a person who's okay at art, but like Des really know how to make things really funny. Like throughout the time that all of the random Des memes that Des made on Twitter, it's like, you know, such a great disappointment that most of the fan base blocked him because his work was really good.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Why did they block him?
Because Des, during the heights of Sotsugo, Des went on a rampage, and then just started arguing with people on Twitter.com. Sotsugo is absolute garbage.
Oh. Sounds like a normal anybody who argues with Twitter, you get blocked immediately.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
But this was also before Musk's Twitter, I think.
Yeah, well, this is before X.
Well, we're not allowed to dead name a fake company in our household.
X, formerly known as Twitter. Oops.
Formerly known as Twitter. Oh, speaking about things that creative things I made, I actually have something really cool to share with the class. I'm sad that Des is not here to see it, but I will take a picture and I will send it in to the VC chat. So the story is that I went to a pottery place with my friends for my friend's birthday, and I was like, what should I paint? And my friend was like, it would be really funny if you painted an Umineko mug. So now I have a Umineko mug on my table.
That's really cool.
I love it.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
Yeah, funny story. So when I was painting this mug, I spent maybe 20 years deciding if I wanted to give Beatrice eyes, because I was like, oh no, if I fuck it up, the eyes would look really bad. But if it looked good, it would look good, right? Anyway, the point of the story is I was a coward and I didn't draw her eyes. So it's this stylistic thing where you don't draw a person's eyes. But now I look at this, I'm like, fuck, I should have just drew her eyes. It would look better.
Yeah.
Just take a Sharpie and draw 2 little circles.
Yeah, that's actually what yeah, no, everybody who was talking about it was all you have to do is stick some googly eyes on. Yeah, I'm actually super happy how it turned out. The how do I say it? The family crest looks really good, and just the whole thing I was pretty happy about. We can, I guess, include this as a picture as a part of the podcast. But incredibly funny stuff. It's quite funny because I think I spent a lot of my time thinking about how I was Umineko should really have more merch, or I really wish I can find more stuff. It's be the change you want to be in the world, I guess. Time to just make your own merch.
One day we'll have our own merch. When We Cry merch will probably exist one day.
When We Cry merch.
That's so funny. It's actually kind of weird. Speaking about this podcast and if people know us or not. So I think I mentioned this thing twice, which is that a while ago, Joseph Anderson on a leap year decided to stream Umineko, and then in Joseph Anderson's server there was a Umineko channel that still have active people after months, and it's just really funny. And the thing is that I was on that server and I was just talking, and somebody was like, hey, are you Mushroom? Are you Mushroom from the When We Cry podcast? And I was like, how the fuck do you know what that is?
I'm so glad I haven't been recognized, because I would not know how to react if I had been recognized. What? Yeah, it's me, Horror Scam, the one that doesn't really know what he's talking about on the podcast.
I was just so shocked. I was like, that's actually insane. Who the fuck are you? And also
we do have 700 subs, don't we?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We are 2 subscribers away at the moment.
Well, yeah, we're 2 subscribers away from 700. It's kind of insane because to me, I truly believe this is a podcast I make with my friends, who is also for the 5 audience who listens to the podcast, and the 5 audience who also became people who will record on the podcast. So to me, I have zero idea if anybody is listening to this. I could be shouting into a tree hole every week.
Yeah,
And I would.
I had to talk about this show at my school, because I was saying I was talking about, because I was talking to the teacher that I was editing this, and talking about it during class, because I was like, oh, this is what I'm working on. This is something I do during my free time, and it's so weird to talk about it, because it's I feel like they're looking at me you do a weird fan podcast about some obscure visual novel no one has heard about.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I do. Actually, it's so cool. I'm such a normal and well-adjusted person.
It's the highlight of my week.
And we have done it for 4 years, and technically they've not released anything in 3, because Ciconia is almost 5 years old with no new stuff. Go came out the ended 3 years ago, and as far as we know, no new content has come out.
It's truly
other than extra stuff.
The older I get, the more I realize that everything that everybody likes is kind of weird in its own way, and you should just own it.
Oh yeah, I think I'm starting to get to that point as well, where like I just don't care if somebody
never feel self-conscious.
Somebody tells me I'm weird for liking something. Like I'll buy any merch I want. If somebody asks me what the hell that is, and I'll just go, it's my favorite show or something.
But also like don't ever feel bad about sharing it. Just like tell people like this is what I do every weekend. I record episodes on a podcast about my favorite silly little visual novel series.
What I find actually impressive about When We Cry or even Yuikishi's content in general is like how much content we were able to like squeeze out of his work. Like there's so much to talk about. Like, there's a guy who's like out here making this Dante Inferno podcast. It's really good and has like 300 fucking episodes, and every week it's just this one guy who's like a literary professor talking about Dante's Inferno. And I feel like I'm just living that life right now. Like, this is my, like, people talk about, like, what's your Roman Empire? Like, this is my Roman Empire. Like, I will just look at, like, a bunch of, like, rich people dying in a submarine, and all I can think about is, yes, it's just like Umineko.
Yes.
Yep. Any twist mystery or anything where you have to think about anything, I'm like, just like Umineko, thinking.
Yeah, actually, speaking about thinking, so my friend really wanted me to watch ReZero. I don't know have any of you watched ReZero?
Oh,
I have not.
No.
Okay, so I have never watched ReZero, and I have always assumed ReZero to be some kind of isekai trash because it's kind of just how it's advertised. What I didn't realize is that that ReZero's author was like a humongous Umineko fan, and this is like really prevalent in the story. It's like a time loop, like, story kind of about like, doing things over and over again, figuring out your self-worth kind of like shit, right? Funny story is, it is filled with Umineko reference. Like, I am watching it with a person who's also actively reading Umineko, who just finished EP2. But like literally, just to explain to you how egregious it is, there's a scene where they meet a character named Beatrice, and her joke name, like the nickname they give her is Byaku, but like she's a witch. And like blah blah blah, and she longs to die, and all the witches in the story wants love, and like there's a witches tea party. That's not even the biggest problem. The craziest thing in the show is that like at some point, and yes, Byaku, yes, I love the very nervous. I love how unhappy the smile face is. You know what I mean?
Great.
But the funniest shit that could possibly happen is that there's so the other thing that's like really, I guess this is gonna be some amount of Umineko spoilers if you understand what I'm talking about, but like in ReZero, like it's really important about promises, about people breaking promises, people getting really upset about promises getting broken. There's a scene where the main character says, hey, I'll come back and with you, like come back to you on a white horse, and I literally almost spit out my drink and then didn't say anything because I knew my friend was watching, who's like actually trying to read and solve Umineko. And I'm like, how is this real? and like it's kind of insane, and there's like a witch of greed who talks about all the things she wants, and like how she wants everything, and she wants to see the person's happiness, sadness, blah 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 blah. And like I'm just sitting here being like, I could tell you what this fucking author's favorite Umineko characters are. Like this guy loves Mammon, man. Like and like loves Beatrice. Like it's kind of ridiculous. Anyway, I have never read a piece of media that's that blatantly Umineko, so like it kind of just like hit me sideways, if that makes any sense.
Thank you, Mushroom, for adding another data point to my like theory that Umineko references are everywhere, because it was like the one like when the fan server started, like back when I used to do like a topic of the week. I mean that has not happened for a very long time, but I did a topic of the week where I was like, hey, where have you guys seen like When They Cry references in the wild? Because I was like, I came like with I thought a pretty good one, which was like Dark Souls has what I think is pretty clearly an Umineko reference with the Moonlight Butterfly fight where you can summon Beatrice.
That's really funny.
But like I was like, hey, here's one, and other than that, I really only have like, I mean, I've seen like YouTube videos about like on YugiTube, like Yu-Gi-Oh, where people used Umineko OST, which is not really a reference. But I was expecting people to be like, oh, like, you know, this other game. And I can add one new data point that I didn't know back when I did that, which is I played Touhou Lost Branch of Legend. Has lots of Umineko references. That's like a Touhou fan game. But yeah, ReZero, I can add that to.
Yeah, that sounds like a great TV tropes page. Yeah. Umineko references in the wild.
Oh my god! Speaking about TV tropes, I forgot who was on this podcast thousands of years ago telling me that how they hated the Umineko TV tropes page, and I have a love-hate relationship with the TV tropes of Umineko. That's a podcast episode I really want to do, is to talk about the TV tropes of Umineko, because like that page is filled with like the best information you can get, but also just like whoever's fucking opinion piece it is that they just wrote in like a goddamn fact.
Yeah.
TV tropes is very useful for like finding cool information about references to something, or like learning about tropes in TV, but like some of it can just be people's opinions of how it relates to some weird concept of idea that they had.
Yeah.
If you want to really get people's opinions, you should look at the YMMV, the Your Mileage May Vary, because that's just literally people's opinions.
Your mileage may vary fucking kills me. So the reason why this is a very small weird tangent, but like I got back into rewatching Psycho Pass as a show, and I was like, oh, like, you know, as a total fucking idiot, I was like, I should just go back and like read Psycho Pass's TV tropes page. It must be really fun. It was not fun. I got to read about like ancient arguments about people hating season 2 because they hate women, and I got to read about a bunch of people not liking season 3, which is like kind of understandable, but also kind of stupid opinions, and like it's just horrible. And then it just made me remember like TV tropes is such a weird page, just like Horsecam was talking about, but like the thing that like drives me the fucking craziest is that like it's written in a way that like it's all like opinions, like it's all like, but it's not like one person's opinions, it's like a bunch of like nameless, faceless editors who like wrote their fucking opinions somehow, and then it's now just written in a way that's like supposed to look like fact, like on a wiki, and it's just like it's so deranged. Like, why did anybody allow you to say this? Like, when you're just a fucking super fucking r/Umineko redditor writing like your goddamn opinion piece on here. Oh,
Mushroom, you should put your opinions in the Umineko YMMV.
I should.
I was just gonna say, somehow it all works out though, like on TV tropes, because everybody can put their opinion down, and there's like an unspoken policy where you don't like shit talk other people's opinions. So it's just everyone's opinion. You can just read them, and you don't get the like r/Umineko arguments that you would get otherwise.
That's why we make an episode about it, so we could shit on other people's opinions.
Yeah, exactly.
True.
It's actually really funny because this reminded me thousands of years ago when Des and I were talking, you know, when Des was going on his cool rampage, you know, destroying people with facts and logic on Reddit, on Twitter. Des was like, Mushroom, you have so much anime / like VN opinions. Like, why don't you go like write your thoughts down or like go argue with people on Twitter? And I was like, I am literally just like a horrible person, and if I started to do it now, like this will be the like ruins my life, like, because so the whole problem was because Des and I were talking about the fact that like we both did art, like we both we both are artists and we drew a lot of art, but Des just like has the bad habit of like drawing really nice art and then like along that also using the same account to, you know, go like fight people on the internet. And I was like, and then and on this flip side, like I was like, I'm too afraid to tell other people that my art page is linked to me, like a person with a lot of opinions. Like I just want people to like innocently enjoy my art, like because they're nice, not because like I will just like shit on their opinion like relentlessly because I don't respect their like whatever horrible takes or something.
Speaking of like episodes we want to do in the future, is there any episodes we want to do eventually in the future at all? And like anything we want,
there's a whole channel full of them. We've got the whole Pod Topics channel is never empty.
It's like we'll probably continue doing the book club over the next year.
Yeah.
Both book clubs likely of Higurashi and Umineko's. Umineko, I don't think I don't know what your opinion on this. Do you think the book club will finish by next anniversary?
Not even remotely. We keep talking about the fact that book club is going to go on for another 5 years. So like we are not even remotely close.
But you're
to
2/3 of the way done with Umineko.
You think
book
that
club versus phase 2. It's a race.
I can't wait. Like just like as Curry said, like. I can't wait until we get to like EP 7 and 8, like, and every episode is like 2 hours long, and we only get to like 2 chapters because everybody has so much opinion about the ending.
Yeah, episode 8 is gonna be an interesting one. I think.
Episode 8 is gonna be wild.
Episode 8 is honestly the thing where I feel like there's the most, not the most to talk about, but the most ambiguity to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Yeah, because like you have 2 endings to talk about, right? Yeah, you have.
Yeah, we do have 2 endings to talk about. It's just a lot
and
of
just
things.
a lot of philosophies.
The Higurashi book club will continue. We'll probably get to Watanagashi.
Yeah, realistically speaking, we could. Des keeps telling me how I should 100% read goddamn, Rose Gun Days, and like, if we honestly get enough people to do Rose Gun Days. If we start a Rose Days book club, like that shit's never gonna end.
Yeah.
I just started it like a few months ago, and I've taken a month-long hiatus.
How do you like it?
It's good. It's slow, and it's definitely different.
Yeah, Rose Gun Days is really good. I think if we do cover it, it would be slightly different than how we do Higurashi and Umineko, where I feel like I don't think a spoilers discussion is needed. Like, not to say like we're gonna talk only about spoilers, it's just like there's nothing I want to spoil when we're talking about it that like in the way of like Umineko and Higurashi.
It's not like a mystery story in that direction. It's like
it's not a mystery. It's like if Ryukishi wrote an anime. It's very similar to an anime in structure.
The bad thing about me and Rose Gun Days is that for like 4 years now I have tried to trick myself into getting into Rose Gun Days, and I would fall off somewhere in the middle of like of the first Rose Gun Days, like Rose Gun Days 1, and every time I'm like, I don't know why, I just can't keep going with it. I haven't figured out what to hook me. I think the last point I always get to is like the kidnapping section. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, it's like super early, and
I think the entirety of the first season is really slow, in my opinion. I think it does ramp up towards the end of the first season, but like once you start the second season and end the first year of the game, I know that sounds really cryptic, but the first year, the end of the first year of the game is the best part. Though I think it's structured really badly.
The kidnapping also gets resolved fairly quickly, so if that is what's keeping you, it'll be over soon.
It would be over. I think I always kind of get to the end of the kidnapping, and I would be like, I think like the problem I have with Rose Gun Days every time I read it or watch somebody play it is that like nothing really happens in the beginning. Like I don't know where it's going. I don't know who these people are. And like they're like, and Ryukishi goes on a lot of random tangents like about history and about women are from Venus and men are from Mars, like the usual kind of Ryukishi gender conversation. And I just like it just slides off my brain. Like maybe one day once I like get into it again and then I can like actually finish it. Like it's really funny because Ciconia hooked me so fast. Like Ciconia was like so. Like, that's why I find it infuriating that he has never dropped the phase 2, because, like, Ciconia 1 is, like, picks up such a good pace.
So
and, like,
interesting.
It's so interesting.
It's his best first chapter of any of his stories, because I think Onikakushi is really slow and doesn't do a whole... And, like, it feels really slow, and ultimately, I think it mostly serves as the introduction to the characters. Umineko episode 1 is really good, but it still has a very slow first half, and it's a very long first half that goes on I wouldn't say way too long, but it goes on really long to the point where, like, you might be falling asleep in your chair if you're not intrigued by some or most of the characters at all. Where I think Rose Gun Days, I think its first season is good, but has really bad pacing issues of going too slow and Ryukishi writing. I think and I haven't read any of his other stories to be like give an opinion on them as first
I can't
chapters.
wait to read Loopers or Iwahime, which I heard are both incredibly mid.
Loopers is just boring. That's really the only thing.
Yeah.
Have any of you read Loopers?
No.
Yeah, it's boring.
How long did it take you to read it?
A day.
Really?
It's short. It's not long.
Okay. Oh,
And
heard
it's not especially deep, and there's not especially much thinking
substance.
involved.
I see. I also heard Ryukishi's chunk of rewrite is the worst of the 3 people who wrote the rewrite chunks.
That's my understanding
I've only
as well.
read like the first there's the introduction to rewrite, so I haven't really gotten to Ryukishi stuff. But I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, so have you ever heard about Des and I's elaborate theory about what's the Ryukishi's, like, what's the give and take of Ryukishi's writing? Is that, so Des and I have came to the conclusion that for Ryukishi to write peak media, he has to write something incredibly bad in the between it. So, like, if you look at, all the works he has done, like, he, like, wrote Higurashi, and it was really good, and then he wrote, like, Kaidan no Odoro, which is, like, just, like, very mid. It's just, like, a bunch of, like...
Didn't he also write, Higanbana between...
He wrote Higanbana, which was really... Oh, my God. Higanbana is so mid that it's actually kind of insane. Like... I genuinely cannot understand how he wrote when did he write Higanbana? Let me go check right now because
I want to say it was before Higurashi ending, like 2007.
Oh,
like,
no, horrible. Do you know when he wrote fucking Higanbana? He wrote Higanbana
After Umineko?
After Umineko in 2010.
No, that's not true. That can't be true. That cannot be done.
Wait. Let me just check for sure. Yup, he wrote Higanbana 2011. 20, like,
right when BT passed away?
Maybe? No. Because he finished up Umineko in 2010. Yeah, 2010 he finished Umineko, and then the year after he wrote Higanbana.
Why would you do that?
That's what I mean. Higanbana is so mid.
That sounds like a horrible... Look, I thought it was in between Umineko.
That's what I mean.
Higurashi and Umineko.
That's what I mean. Higanbana is so bad that you think it was his first work, or like one of his first or second work, and not something he wrote after he wrote Umineko.
You know what of his is pretty good though?
What?
I read recently Haworthia, which is sort of like Ciconia Beta.
That's like the precursor to Ciconia.
I remember the music from Haworthia that's for Ciconia. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's honestly it's really short. It's like honestly like a 20-minute read, if that.
Even constitutes, I guess.
But yeah, but if any elements of it were going to be recycled into Ciconia, it's really interesting. I recommend it.
But yeah, if you look at the Ryukishi timeline, he wrote what? Higurashi first and was pretty okay. And then between Higurashi, he wrote like a bunch of fucking all of the weird short stories that people hated, I guess. And then he wrote Umineko. And then that was absolute certified peak. And then to compensate the fact that he wrote peak, he wrote Higanbana after Umineko for some reason. And then
he wrote Rose Gun Days.
And then he wrote Rose Gun Days. That was really good, and everybody liked it. And then
Iwahime.
And then he wrote Iwahime that everybody hated and thought was incredibly mid. Oh, he also wrote like whatever the Tri-anthology, which everybody also thought was pretty mid. And then he wrote Ciconia, which was amazing.
Yeah, and then he's released Loopers. So that means his next work will be really good, which is currently Silent Hill F or Phase 2. If you count
his work is going to be really good because he released Higurashi Go and so too as well.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, I hope that's true. I hope Silent Hill F is really good. I am to talk about Silent Hill F for a second. I think Silent Hill F is the most curious case because like I have a theory about Ryukishi that like I think he doesn't work outside the visual novel medium. I don't think he's ever written anything outside the visual novel in his own writing style that just works. Because, like, because the Higurashi Go was just really bad.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally believe it.
And, like, I'm trying to think about other things that, like, he's released as a manga or an anime that just didn't work at all. Like, even the anime adaptations of both Higurashi and Umineko just aren't, like, not to say that Higurashi's adaptation, the original one, is bad. I think it's just different in a way that, like, it gives off a different vibe than why I really like Higurashi.
I agree.
And Umineko's anime adaptation was panned all around.
Yeah.
Higurashi, the anime, is a really good horror anime, not a very good exploration into the characters.
Yeah. And I think they tried to do that same thing with Umineko's, and that's why it failed massively, because Umineko is not a horror at all.
Yeah.
It wants to be, it's just not.
It's actually quite funny to think about how the problem is actually this. I don't think Ryukishi does well when he is given shit to write. Like, I am kind of worried about Silent Hill F because, like, both Rewrite and Iwahime, of course, are like he didn't, it's not like he wrote it within himself, or like even Loopers, like, it's all like from Key, and like he just didn't fucking hit anything that he like unless, like, you know, I could have been like, wow, Ryukishi just fell off, but like he did just write Ciconia in 2019, and then it's like so good that it's actually kind of insane. So like, I just don't know. Like, I don't really know if Ryukishi writes well in other people's constraint. Like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, because Silent Hill F, I'm just a little bit worried about, because, like, Silent Hill is a different story, because Silent Hill has a very different story writing, because it's all environmental, and I don't know how Ryukishi will do with environmental storytelling, and, like, doing something that isn't, where, like, it could be, if he does write it in, like, the days of, like, old PS2 survival horror games of, like, where, like, in, like, Fatal Frame 2, you would go into a room and get a 5-page document about some random thing that happened.
Oh, and you surely know that Ryukishi will just take the time to write that 5-page document.
Oh, no, I feel like that's probably where he'll excel, is in that, like, you'll walk into a room, you'll get, like, a 6-page about a guy talking about, like, the effects of some, like, drug or something, or some prayer, because it takes place in Japan, because it takes place in, is it Showa era Japan?
1960s, yeah.
Like, Silent Hill F is just going to be really good in storytelling, is going to be really good, or just really bad. Some of it might not be Ryukishi's fault. Some of it might not be his fault. Some of it might be the director's fault, because of, like, the game design could be a problem. But, like, if the writing is really good, I think it's success, and I hope it's success. I just hope it gets a release date soon, because I want to play it.
I hope he's given the freedom to be more Ryukishi than Silent Hill if he wants to, like, where he wants to, not like a When They Cry playable game, because that probably wouldn't go down well with Silent Hill fans. But, like, if he wants to do something that's a bit more like Higurashi core,
I assume he will, because considering that, like, the whole setting of the game has completely changed, because instead of being set in Northeast America, it's now in Japan, which is new to the series and, like, unique, and I'm curious how that relates to Silent Hill, because Silent Hill has always been about the town of Silent Hill, so, like, it's going to be more of, like, the themes of Silent Hill, so I'm curious if, like, what they'll do, because I'm a big Silent Hill fan and as a big Ryukishi fan. I can't believe I missed that announcement, because I got so angry about the Silent Hill 2 announcement, Silent Hill 2 remake announcement, because I was like, I turned off the stream right before it aired, and I was like, and I only got messaged about it like an hour later, because I was so angry about the Silent Hill 2 remake, because I did not want it.
Mr. Ryukishi 07 from Umineko.
Yeah, speaking about that, I need Silent Hill F to be good, or it just has to be so bad, because I'm so worried, because I can't have it to be bad, because I need people to understand how much I like Ryukishi. And, like, if he, like, fucked this up for me, like, this is gonna be embarrassing for me, you know? But I also, like, if I have to live my life, and whenever I mention, like, Ryukishi, instead of them being like, oh, it's the guy who wrote, like, Higurashi, or, like, that guy who wrote Umineko, and then somebody was like, oh, yeah, it's the guy who wrote Silent Hill F, I think I would, like, impale myself on the nearest fucking fence.
Yeah.
What if he writes it and it's the most peak thing he's ever written, and we just have to become a Silent Hill person?
Well, we would only talk about Silent Hill F.
Would you be able to
we
edit
could
that?
talk about Silent Hill. I love Silent Hill, but like, would we only have to talk about Silent Hill F?
I mean,
Can I
Ryukishi
tell-
probably is a huge Silent Hill fan. You could tell a lot of like random fucking small things that Ryukishi write that he's inspired by Silent Hill. Like, there's a whole ass fucking piece of music in Ciconia that I listen to. I'm like, this is just Silent Hill. Like, did you guys rip this straight from fucking Silent Hill?
I don't. Yeah, speaking of like the music, I don't know if Akira Yamaoka is doing the music in Silent Hill F. He might. It might not be. I would be happy if Ryukishi gets one of his people to do it. Gets like what's a good composer from Umineko that could be good
ZTS.
I don't think ZTS is a Silent Hill.
I don't think any from Umineko. Yeah, I hope we get to see more about Silent Hill F really soon.
It has been announced for like 3 fucking years, hasn't it been? Am I like fucking?
Yeah, it was announced in October of 2022. It's about to be October of 2024.
No, 2 years now.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake is about to release in like 2 weeks. So
it's about time.
Yeah, we should be hearing from it soon. I don't want it to be canceled. I swear to God, I think that's the thing that's going to be worrisome is like if Silent Hill 2 remake doesn't do good, they could just cancel Silent Hill F.
If they cancel this, and this is what
Ryukishi.
Ryukishi, if you don't give me... I think about this so much. I was like, I should have fucking win. Like, if I had the opportunity to look Ryukishi in the eye at Anime Expo, I would have just been like, Ryukishi, slide Ciconia underneath the table to me. Like, I'm pointing a gun at you. Like, just give it to me, man.
I was just saying, you know, what'd be really funny though, is if like Silent Hill F gets cancelled and then like a couple of months later, Ciconia Phase 2 comes out and it's all set in a mysterious town in 1960s Japan.
And that would be truly wacko.
That would
for
be
lack of a better word.
Honestly, I'd be all good with that because like it's still the same thing.
The amount of money I'd pay Ryukishi to just like look in his planning notebook and just want to understand what was going through his mind for Phase 1 and also just for Higurashi Go, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious why Go sucked. That's the only thing I would ask him if I had to talk to him and be like, hey, why does Go suck so much?
I would also look at him and be like, hey, Ryukishi, could you stop writing Umineko side stories? I need you to fucking take your
Umineko is done. Please just end Umineko.
Yeah.
It's like, please stop writing random shit in it.
Let the cat box die. The cat box closed.
What would you ask him is if you could ask Ryukishi one question?
Why?
Because I'll give you mine. I still really want to know. I guess we are still. This is Umineko spoilers again, but I want to know why the magic ending is written the way it is, where like it starts from the balcony of the hospital, and like Angie somehow, I guess she found the diary under the bed. I want to know the logistics of all of that. Like, where did she get the diary? Like, did Ava really just say like, I'm not going to tell you anything, and then just like slide the diary like over to her, or like did she try and hide it under the bed and like Angie was just like, what's this?
God.
Don't think about it too hard. You'll give yourself a headache.
Yeah.
As you can't just say that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, so go back to after this long tangent, going back to the topic of like episodes we would want to do. We talked about like doing episodes on Rose Guns Days. Oh, this started all about Rose Guns Days. That's where it all started. We talked about doing like a Rose Guns Day thing, because especially with Rose Guns Days getting an official English release soon. I don't know if they announced a release date for that. Like an official...
I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, we'll see what Manga Gamer will say. They have not announced anything new about it. Okay, but that's the thing. We can cover other Ryukishi stories. We can do other. We have other topics we can do. Like we have that TV Tropes episode, the Go retrospective.
We got to do more smoking rooms.
Yes.
Where we just smoke. That's actually what happens.
We also have tea party. We like ideas for tea parties. Like I have some ideas for secret tea parties. Like I want to do like a tokusatsu tea party. I think that would be really fun for like Kamen Rider or Super Sentai.
I think we also talked about how we really wanted to do a tournament for Golden Fantasia that we all fight against each other for Golden.
Oh yeah,
which I think would be funny. I is anybody here actually very good at fighting games that I didn't know about?
No, I'm good at Smash, but that's not a fighting game.
The only person I know that is decently good at fighting games is Jensen, but I don't know if he's ever played Golden Fantasia that much.
From what I've heard, it's basically Street Fighter, like, or either that or it's based on a different.
I think it's more. I feel like it's more based on like more traditional anime fighters, like Blaze Blue and the other one, Guilty Gear.
There's. I know there's two control schemes you can play. One that's like Guilty Gear, and one that's more a la like Smash Bros. Honestly.
Oh yeah, is that the Princess mode?
Yes,
Princess.
It is.
That's so insulting. That's so insulting. Okay. Yeah.
I think it would be very fun if we all show up with like a name for our like 2-person team.
Oh.
Like if you go like I don't know, like Anjay and Ava Beatrice, and you like have a name for that.
Angie and Virgilia, the yaoi lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that Golden Fantasia tournament is like a really fun idea. We've had that idea kicking around for like a while, like the last 3 years.
Yeah, I feel like every year we kind of talk about it, and it just is kind of a logistical nightmare to organize it. That we never get around to it.
Like we have to figure out how many people we have, and like getting the right people for it. I mean, we could get like if we get filled people, we could also like invite some members of the community to fill some spots to kind of like be on the fighting. It'll be a fun little community thing to do as well.
I think the problem with it is if we're trying to like to make sure that nobody is like secretly really really good. It would be a lot harder. We just have to like
you can only come on to the podcast if you play poorly. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you have to send us an audition tape of like you have to like sit on a call with
jobbers
like
only.
The worst player of like the worst of us and be like, you have to lose against us, but not on purpose. You have to like actually try to win. And then you come in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other topics in our pod topics thing. Like, oh yeah, there's the Haruhi Secret Tea Party, which I think last night I checked on it on our drive, which I think is ready to be uploaded. I think there's a video of it.
So I've pretty much finished the editing of it, and maybe you could do this, Horsecam. But like I did the front end and the back end, and I couldn't render them together for some reason. Like this is circling all the way back to the story I had at the start, which I actually didn't finish about Higurashi, the Higurashi Bookclub that killed me. And I think like my lack of motivation has like started since then because I couldn't. It was 6 months between the 2 Higurashi book clubs this year, and like we didn't record them that far apart. But like I think Higurashi Book Club 5, it was just like it wouldn't render, and like I tried rendering it in bits, and like I could do that, but then I couldn't put them together, and then I tried all sorts of things. I think at the end I sent Des like 5 parts, and he had to put them together, and like I think fortunately that like I was worried there'd be like seams in between because I wasn't sure how the whole putting it together thing would work, but it seemed to work okay. But yeah, that absolutely killed me. And yeah, the Haruhi Secret Tea Party is like so close.
Yeah. So,
that's right. The problem with the intro, and you could probably maybe you could figure out how to do this, Horsecam, but like it's like normally in the Secret Tea Party, like the logo kind of like shrinks and like goes from like transparent to opaque, and I could only get the opacity thing. I couldn't figure out how to like also do the track motion at the same time, And like I got on the call with Des, and he was like, all right, so what you're gonna do is like, and he was talking me through, and I was like, I don't see that button, I don't see that menu, I don't know where to like. And he was like, well, how are you? And then he eventually realized, like, I'm on Vegas, Vegas, and he's on Premiere. So I do have a few points that Des really wanted me to bring up on his behalf, because he couldn't make it. So I guess like I'll go down the bullet points. So Des just wanted to mention, you know, he's working now, and it's like affected like free time and the energy he has on his free time, which has affected the number of episodes that we put out this year. And he's put a note to thank me for helping out every now and again. Now I want to remind everybody, we've put out like, I think we said 14 videos this year, 13 episodes. 9 of those have been edited by Des. 2 of them were edited by me, and I guess
technically 3, because if we upload the Haruhi episode before this episode, that's the one.
Yeah, I love Des.
But like
this podcast, this whole series would have not existed if it wasn't because he's just kind of a sociopath in his own special way.
Like if I didn't see legitimately without like this is gonna be a Des appreciation point, and like if he listens to this back and starts crying, I've done my job. It's like legitimately without Des, because it's just. I joined because this started in August, July of 2020. COVID just happened. I was in a Walmart going through Reddit because I was bored going with my parents around to go shopping. And like I was like going through the Umineko subreddit because I was still I was wrapping up Umineko. I was like, I think I just finished episode 7 and I was going into episode 8 and I was reading the Umineko subreddit. And I saw a post from Des talking about, hey guys, I want to do an Umineko podcast. I want to do like a When They Cry podcast. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do it, because I was like very antisocial, and I was like, I don't know if I really want to do it. I don't think this doesn't seem like I want to be that social. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it because I want to push myself out there. I'm gonna say yes, and I said yes to him, and I got a message later that day, and I did a test recording to him, and I met so many wonderful people. And thanks to that, I met everyone here, the wonderful people that have come and gone on this show. I met some of my bestest friends on this show, and like I've met, like, legitimately, I don't think I would be without Des posting on that subreddit and me being in a more positive mood that day. I think I would have been in a very different place. This show would likely still exist because I just wouldn't be here. I'm not that pivotal to the show. Sorry for those fans out there. I'm not that pivotal. But legitimately, like, without Des, we wouldn't have this. And like my main fear when I started here was like, this is gonna fall through in like 2 months. Legitimately, I was like, we're gonna record one episode that's never gonna release, and it's gonna fall through. Because like everyone's like so apathetic, but like thanks to Des keeping it together and the people on here, we've been able to do this 4 years, which is absolutely unheard of. Like I don't think I would have guessed we made it to 4 years.
I really am so happy this podcast still exists. I really, really love being on this podcast, and like it genuinely, like I said, like I am also very luckily was one of the first people who were on this podcast, and like it's just so much fun. Like I think like I wanted to say that, like, you know, I read Umineko when I was like 13, and it was like the most important piece of media. I thought about it for 10 years. Every 3 years I reread it, and it's like the most important piece of media. And I felt so like alone in the world of being like such a fan of something that like I have never got to talk to anybody about. And like because of this podcast, like I got to meet so many more people who like care about Umineko in a way that like I couldn't have even imagined, if that makes any sense. Like it's such a good place to like have like intelligent conversations and just like form actual genuine friendship. And and Umineko is honestly on the rise, like from the fact that like there's so much like fan art that like still exists so much on Twitter. Like I like because of this podcast and because of Umineko, like it got me back into drawing in a more serious kind of way. And like that is something that like, you know, Des really was able to like provide a platform for this. And it's like, it's really funny because like every once in a while Des would like, you know, get kind of like, you know, worried that people are like losing interest in this podcast or anything, and I would just be like, no, Des, I'm staying here. Like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I literally care.
Yeah,
I remember you said in one of the anniversary episodes, and I think it was like one of the freshest things in my memory when I joined. I remember you said, Mushroom, if it's just me in a room somewhere, like under my bed recording like episodes, I will still be recording, and I feel like it's the exact same way. Like even if it's just me, just like doing horse fry logs, like I want to keep talking about When They Cry for the foreseeable future. Like I said, like the Pod Topics channel never runs out. It's just an overflowing cup of like things that we are always wanting to do.
Yeah, like I like doing this. It's like the reason I haven't really been on is just due to personal reasons. Like it's not like, oh man, I hate this stuff. I hate talking to these people. It's more like I have fun every time I do it.
Life is fucking busy. Yeah,
I am busy and like energy levels are very different. Sometimes I'll be like the day we're supposed to record and I go, I do not feel good. And like I don't feel great, or I just don't have the energy to talk about something for half an hour and a half. But like that's not the fault of anybody. It's morally a fault of myself. And like that's the thing, like I feel like I'm in a more positive place now, and I hope this next year will be a lot of fun and we'll upload a lot more, especially since it's just gonna be on my
I was gonna
schedule.
say I was gonna say there's so many people on this podcast that went through like a goddamn fucking degree, got jobs, got like moved like from coast to coast to countries. Like I, you know, like it's kind of insane to even be able to continue. Like I, you know, and realistically speaking, I was the most free when I was a student, or especially I guess most free when it was fucking COVID.
Yeah,
and
like everyone was, because like I think because we started it. Yeah, because we started recording in August. We did a couple test recordings that will likely never see the light of day if they're just gone from the internet, gone forever. Because I remember there was an episode I recorded that I don't even know exists anymore. But it's not on.
It probably
never.
It probably was even deleted off of our drive because we needed to save space.
Yeah, because like
sounds right.
But I think those test recordings were still useful because it allowed us to get to know what we were doing. Because we probably talked about in previous anniversary episodes, but the way that Des wanted to do this at the start was not a very cohesive way of doing this, where like we were separated off into different groups that would record together instead of topics.
I remember doing a lot of organization, which is one of the first things I did when I came on to the project, is actually just doing shitloads of organization with Des. And I was like, we need like to just figure out logistics, which is a topic that I like really enjoy. It's actually quite funny. I think Des actually talks about this. This is another funny thing about Des I wanted to mention, which is that Des was like, you could hear me you could hear Des and like get better at speaking English throughout these like years.
I do remember you talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah, it's actually really funny. Like I think like Des even talks about this in like in an anniversary where he was like, I was listening to his own recording. He was like, how the fuck did anybody understand what I was saying? I was like, oh, it's so funny.
I think like how you say like you know, that you did a lot of the organization. I like something I really appreciate about Des. Like I think he's a really great leader because he's really good at like he'll put out his idea, but he wants to like he'll calibrate according to what other people think, and like he's really responsive to like other people's like thoughts and feelings, and like he's just very good to talk to, and like
he lets it be everyone's project. Yeah, not just the Des project.
The really great thing about Des is that he doesn't have a very big ego to feel like this is getting robbed from him, which is like a really valuable thing when it's a project that like involves a lot of people. I mean, we're just as the Des Glaze session. Like,
I mean, Des has been here 4 years and he's not here today, so like.
That's true.
Because here's the funny thing about Des. We talk about shit in front of his face, Like, he's one of those people, like, you talk shit to him to his face because it's funny. You're like, why are you doing this? Because, like, I talk about how, like, he reads so slowly. Where, like, he said, like, he
so
takes him,
funny.
like, 20 hours to read the first chapter of, like, Higurashi, where it took me, like, half that. But, like, behind his back, we're like, oh, man, Des is so cool. I love Des. He's so awesome.
Yeah, no, I do have to say, like, yeah, that's
He's just
true.
a dork, you know?
There are so many there's so many hilarious episodes of old like book club. It's just me and Des in a screaming match. Like, we're just like that's so funny because like we would used to just get like I've just like really random Umineko arguments. I would be like, no, Des, you're wrong, L. And I'm like, what the fuck were we arguing about? I don't even remember.
It was part of the charm of the episodes, though. You know, it's sort of why I really wanted to join, because you guys were so passionate about it, and it just like, I don't know, to be able to talk about things in that level of passion is just like, I don't know. I feel so lucky that I got to join.
I'm very lucky that you're here. Speaking about being lucky about being here and not, I guess I'll put this in the anniversary episodes. I don't think we're going to edit this part out because I do want to say this. I am a few people who are going to be working on the Ep4 stage play subtitles. And if I get this correctly done, I might be able to finish it by the end of the year. And I guess this will be my like tiny preview that I am working. I'm just staking my claim on working on this project now. I'll put it on Twitter so people know that I'm actually doing it and not be like, oh, like, are you stealing projects from people or something? I don't think, not from what I have heard about on Twitter that anybody is working on it. So hopefully I'm not stealing anybody's work.
Yeah. Like, we talked about new things, and we talked about Des, because Des was great. Like, we love Des. Like, we have any other things about like the last year, or just When We Cry in general, like favorite episodes, like favorite bits.
Sorry, I have 4 more bullet points that I was supposed to.
Oh yeah, right.
This was the first
I forgot we were in there.
And it became Des appreciation thread, but.
Well, my favorite thing is always like Des always writes so many bullet points, and then Des will be like, wait. I was like, hey, could we wrap the episode up? And Des will be like, I have so many other things I need to say. What I'm talking.
Like, we noticed that with Higurashi Bookclub, we're gonna only cover like the first Onikakushi in like 2-3 episodes, and we're not even finished with episode 5. I think you guys probably realized that with the book club with Umineko, where like you were like, oh, we did 3 episodes. We're gonna finish episode 1 in like 4 or 5, and we'll be golden. And I don't even know when you finished episode 1.
It took us a while.
Finish episode 1. Episode 1.
We could go check, but yes. But
I think it's also that we're really bad at keeping to time limits.
Time limits are hard. Yeah. Wouldn't you agree? As there's just so much to talk about.
Yeah, like this episode might have to be a separate episode because we talked too much. We're an hour and a half. This was supposed to go on to the other forgery episode, but I think we're just gonna have to tie this one off.
Here.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. So that was the first point. Second point. You wanted to shout out Horsecam for starting to edit because honestly, it has been a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Like as mentioned, I've been in a rut, and Des is also like
working.
Had less time, although he has still been editing a lot of episodes. So I really don't want to let him beat himself up about that.
I have more time to edit because I'm now in school for like audio production. So like. It's kind of my thing I'm working towards. It's just being more of an audio engineer to recording or anything. But like editing is going to be part of that. And like, especially with this, I can edit the stuff at school.
Yeah.
That's quite fun. Maybe this coming year, I will also get back into editing. I haven't had time to edit since I have been starting work.
Mm-hmm.
I started work and has been just kind of hectic, but like maybe once I am like cool down a bit, I could get back into editing. I really enjoyed the editing process. It was a lot of fun. It scratches my very personal like itch of being like a total sociopath and like be very like
controlling everyone's
like
So point that was point number 2. Point number 3, the sub count. Des wanted to point out we are nearly at 700. For all we know, we could be at 700 by the time this episode goes out. At the moment, we're 698, which like that's still like a lot of people.
Speaking about sub count, I do want to say I wanted to shout out to everybody who has been listening to this podcast since the very beginning, or just people who have joined throughout the years. Like we have been, I think I mentioned this many times. Like I did not think anybody was going to listen to this podcast. Not that I cared that much. Like I don't actually care if anybody listens to it. Like I enjoy everybody who takes their time to write in our comments and, you know, or to argue with us about why we are wrong and stupid, which is good. Or people who just take time to think we're actually funny or worth listening to, or any of these things, or people who just listen regardless and don't comment. Like that's very nice of all of you to do. And it's kind of funny because like this is not the type of thing where I'd be like, we will be nothing if you guys weren't here. It's like we are still like I would have still been here and recorded.
Yeah, like, we would probably be doing with the like one audience member, which is like somebody's mom or like someone's like partner or something, and be like, wow, thanks guys for listening, or even just us, because I remember like we were commenting on our own videos on our personal channels. Like I think if you go to the early ones, you can see like me commenting on it.
Yeah, exactly. Like I am still pretty diligent about this. I listen to every episode I am on and not on just to hear what other people say. The funniest parts of, I think I even mentioned this in an anniversary video one where I said like, it's always fun to listen to an episode I record because like by the time I get to listen to it again, it will be 3 months later and I would have zero memory of what I said in that episode. And I would like actually like I would think a thought in my brain when I hear Des say something and I would just immediately say that in the episode. And I'm like, wow, this is so funny.
There was one episode this year that I watched where I'm pretty bad at watching episodes, I'll be honest, but one episode where I watched where I was like, this seems like an interesting topic. It was a smoking room of some sort. And I pulled it up and I was like, I wonder what people have to say. I was in the video. I had no memory of recording it.
There are episodes where like, oh, I was on that episode? Because I even say, I would be like, man, I really wish I was on that episode. And I look and it's like, oh, I was? I don't remember that. Even editing, I'm like, I've been editing the forgery episode, and I'll be like, I genuinely don't remember what I did in that episode, even though I literally started editing it the day after we recorded it. And I'm like, I have no idea what I just said. That's just how terrible my memory is. But like,
that's so much fun though. Like you're living your life on like a carousel of excitement. Just get to be surprised all the time.
Yeah, because, like, I forgot I was on the Xenoblade episode, like, recently. Because I was like, oh, man, I really wish I was on the Xenoblade episode. And I started watching it. I was like, oh, I was on it.
Oh, God. But, yeah. But thank you so much, regardless, for all the people who are listening. Like, and maybe, not that I think hitting any milestones would be incredible, but, like, if by, I don't know, 5 years we get like up to 1,000 people, I would be like, we're set. Like, this is it. Like we can pack it up, I guess.
I don't really want to have like 1 million subscribers anyway. I think that would be like, we'd suddenly have to do so much more admin and like sanitization.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be so much
we get
work.
all the trolls and the spam bots and
Well, we still get spam bots. Like, I think.
Really?
We've had some incidents that have happened. I think we have one incident that happened on the show a while back with Sayome. I think somebody said, like, it wasn't a bot, but it was somebody who said, commenter that was really creepy.
Oh, I remember. That's so odd. Yeah, that was a total weird thing that happened. I wonder if that person still listened to us.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh wait, no, I'm not sorry. I shouldn't say sorry to this person. You were creepy. No. We don't.
I don't know what happened, but we don't like creeps here.
I think I've had I know I've had a message, a comment deleted, but it was just like I think I'd put a timestamp and I put lol, and then that got removed, which like I get might have been by a YouTube auto moderation.
Wait, I don't even know. Did we remove that? I feel like Des has.
Yeah, this is on the When We Cry.
Oh God.
I remember being like, I think it was kind of at the around the time that YouTube started getting a lot more like robotic, like literally robotic about things. So they would automatically remove comments and stuff. Yeah. So I didn't think much about it, but yeah.
Because I don't think we purposely, because I don't think we delete comments that often until unless it's like really obviously a bot or just somebody trolling or doing something creepy. Because that's the older last comment was the only time I remember we discussed deleting something.
Fascinating stuff. Don't remember, but thanks everybody for being the comments. So that, so funny. It's kind of wild to think that there has been anybody who found this podcast and has cared to continue.
I mean, me and Horse Fry.
Yeah, I said it to you guys because Mushroom and I did not.
We just pop out. I cannot believe I cannot believe that Reddit post is what started everything.
Yeah, that Reddit post is a pain point in my life because I would have never met certain people in my life because of it.
Yeah, it's actually very exciting because I was talking to Des and Des was like, maybe I'm gonna come to America, and I was like, Des, you should come to America during MagFest so I can punch you in the face. It would be so exciting.
Oh yeah, when is MagFest? I should probably put it in my calendar
because I would love to go as
well.
Maryland, if it's in the East Coast, so of course I don't know which part of America you're in.
I'm a Marylander through or through. My family is from Maryland, so not to dox myself, but
no, I understand. The reality is that MagFest is the only convention I go to now due to just a bunch of myriad of factors. But if you go, you could get to meet me and Lorenzo, who go every year. It'd be really fun.
Yeah. That would be incredible. We could have a mini live pod.
That would be fun. Yeah. Also, I think I mentioned this at one time in a podcast right after I went to MagFest. But when I was at MagFest, I was standing in front of an artist's booth, and I got to see that they had Higurashi stuff, but they also had an Umineko charm, and I was like, oh my god, this is an Umineko charm, and I was started buying it, and while I was talking to the artist about the Umineko charm, another person comes up, and it's like, oh my god, is this an Umineko charm? And then all three of us are talking, and we were like, oh, we have to follow each other on Twitter, and then we both pulled out our phone, and then realized we were already Twitter mutuals. Yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you meet Lorenzo at a convention that way or something?
Who did I meet? Sorry,
Lorenzo. Because I remember someone said they met Lorenzo at a convention.
Yes. Yeah, I met Lorenzo 2 years in a row at MagFest. But the funny thing is that so Lorenzo and I would run into each other. So we on the first day of the MagFest we met each other on purpose. But then because the convention is 3 days, or I think 3 or 4 days. So one time, I was standing loudly, complaining about people in my life while buying a Umineko print. Lorenzo turns around and says, "Mushroom." I was like, this is so embarrassing. I was like, oh, he just knew my voice. I was like.
I mean, yeah, we do a podcast. If you don't recognize our voice, that's a little bit that tells a lot.
It is the most distinguishing feature about ourselves.
I think it would be
that I know about y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, we have art, but unless we always dress like our art,
yeah, I mean, because we don't have features to distinguish each other with. But yeah, isn't that quite so yeah, that's how Lorenzo and I ran into each other again in the second time. We ran into each other in the second time, and I was like, oh my god, here's a Umineko print, and that's actually how I end up having an Umineko print on my wall. It's we both got stuff from that, the same artist.
It would be so surreal to meet up in real life and some person just comes walking up to you and starts speaking to you in Mushroom's voice. I feel like that. I'm so used to thinking of you people as names on the screen that light up when your voice comes. I don't know how I would cope with seeing real people.
What you could do to help with that, you could just like print out people's avatars and like if you meet them in the face, just staple it, like stick it to their face. So you'd be like, I don't want to look at. He's like, I don't look at you. I only look at the one thing I could see on the Discord, which is just your name lighting up.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Don't we have an episode about the pros and cons of the virtual world?
Yes, that was the episode that just came out. We did not talk about that in that episode. I don't think we got too really meta with that. That was a good episode. It's a great episode, but like really good episode, but like we didn't go like, into like the funny parts of it. I think it was a good episode. Yeah. Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Is that about Ciconia?
Yeah, but I think it was like we were talking. We got really into like my opinions about like the real life like metaverse thing that like we're all gonna get our brains uploaded to computers and people think that's like gonna be the future, and like I brought up all the things that like that in the real world really bother me about that.
I'll have to give it a listen
from there. It was a good episode.
The first episode I edited.
Yeah,
it's pretty exciting. Horse.
Should we?
Horse Cam. What else do you have as point?
Fry and the horse fry.
Oh,
sorry.
Horse fry.
Oh, Fry. Why did I just say horse Cam? So this is like my parents when they call my like sibling's name. They would like when you're. I don't know if any of you have siblings, but my parents when I call. Like they just call like a bunch of names. Like my mother would call like our dog's name before she would get to my name. Like, and it's like not even because she likes the dog any better than she likes me. Not saying my mother doesn't like me. That's
like I do that to my pets. Like sometimes when I'm downstairs with my dogs, I call them by my cat's name because I spend most of my time with my cat. And like I'll be like, oh hey Amelia, how are you doing? And then I'm talking to my dog.
Aw.
Should I do dis point number 4?
Yeah, that's final point.
No, this is dis penultimate.
That's final point.
There's one more after this. So this is an interesting one actually. 4 years means that the time that the new batch of hosts have been here is for as much time as the original cast was here before we started like recasting. Before retiring.
Like us now, we're like new cast members, I guess.
And he says he hopes all of us new hosts feel like this whole thing is as much ours as it was theirs.
I definitely do.
And like that's.
Oh, that's so sweet. This is so sweet.
When did you guys start? That's a good question.
It was right around when I think it was like 2022, like July, August, almost right after the second anniversary, I think.
It was defend your problematic faves.
Yeah. Do you know like what you did? Cause like
14th of November 2022 is me, Des, and AD. I remember that one, and I don't know if I want to talk too much about it, but I remember that one for a mistake I made that really bothered me, and still kind of bothers me actually that I made that mistake. But yeah, it was me, Des, and AD. On Defend Your Problem. I know that because before that was the fashion episode. And I remember that one, like listening to that one and not being on the podcast. So
that's funny. What about you, Ash? Do you remember what was your first episode?
I want to say it was maybe I have no idea. The earliest one I can remember is the one where I had to lie about what I thought. And
that was the April Fool's episode.
Okay, that's the earliest one I can remember.
Was it?
I'm sure I was on a book club before that, but I don't really remember. I also just don't have a functional memory, period. So it's not anything about
relatable.
No, your first looking at it looks like your first episode was Book Club 32.
Okay, and then I also remember an early recording that actually never got released was the Higurashi side arcs.
Yeah, I want to edit it. I have it downloaded to edit, and I kind of want to edit it, but it's like 2 years old, and I have to be like, either. I don't know if we want to redo it, because like I do like those arcs, and I have a lot to say about those arcs. Those arcs are just decent arcs, but like We could just edit it and release it and just do the next art for the next.
Yeah, I'm not
arc.
super.
I just don't know. I'll edit it first and then see how I feel about it after editing it. And see
was this the one
we felt like we talked about it enough?
I remember being really perplexed about, because there was what were they called, the Putus and the, or is this a different?
No, that was the what the heck is the lore of Higurashi?
Did they end up being an episode?
That did end up being an episode. That was where Des tried to explain Koto Hogushi.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh yeah, the Cyrex would probably get into Koto Hogushi at some point, but like, because that is something we wanted to do, was cover the Cyrex for Higurashi, because like, there's not a lot of places that cover.
They're so weird.
Yeah, because I think we recorded the first episode, which covered the first two side arcs, which was Tsurai Mawashi and Tsukiotoshi. I think we realized that, like, because I thought we could put those into one episode, because like, Tsurai Mawashi is really short. It takes about an hour to read through, and there's not a lot happens in it, because that's the point. But apparently we talked a lot about it. And like, we ran into the issue of like, it was going
because
too
we're
long.
crazy.
Because Tsukiotoshi had a lot in it as well, because both were relatively short. Because I think Tsukiotoshi was slightly longer than Tsurai, and I think they're both good arcs. We just had a lot to say about it. I think I'll edit them and see how I feel about them. If not, we'll redo them, because I do know that the arc after that is going to be a really long one anyway. Because it's God, can't remember the name of that arc. It's
Miyotsukushihen, the one that's like the alternate ending. Yeah.
Yeah. The alternate ending. Yeah. Great arc.
I
That's
have
an
not read
amazing
it.
arc. Oh my god, that's such a great arc. Oh my god, I will say this. I think it's a better ending than Matsuri Bayashi.
I know a lot of people feel that way, because yeah, we can talk about it another time. Honestly, I think we're getting too sidetracked.
Yeah, because like I think we should read it, and like we're closing in 2 hours, I think, on this episode. Yeah, which is something I never thought we would get to. Which is going to be fun for me.
Yeah,
like, I thought this was be an addendum to the forgery episode, but that's going to have to be.
Yeah, that might be okay. Episode. Like I know Pokey thought that that they were doing that for the Rokenjima anniversary instead. Like,
yeah, because like. Yeah, because our anniversary is on the 1st of October, right?
1st and 3rd.
It's going to have the same time frame anyway.
So yeah, I guess all I'll say is like I definitely do feel like this podcast is something of mine too. It's you've all been very welcoming. I've really enjoyed my time here, and here's to 4 more years.
Yep, 4 more years.
Yeah, 4 more years. To
can't
infinity.
Conceptualize that far in advance, but yeah.
We'll have someone die. I'm gonna say this: we're gonna have someone die on the show.
I hope not.
Before it ends, not on the episode. No, we're not gonna someone die on the episode. Hopefully that doesn't happen, but someone's gonna die of old age.
I hope not.
Before this podcast ends.
The idea is that we're gonna do this for 50 years. That's the idea.
Until hopefully there'll be more.
Until phase 2.
I think like didn't we talk about this? Des said this about how we should get like for 1 anniversary we should really just get a mansion and invite all the people in real life. And then we just do. This is like of course like this was the most pipe dream crack thing that said. I forgot. Like I feel like we totally talked about.
Now, when
this
you say
before.
perform Umineko, do you mean like murder cult Umineko, or do you mean just like pretend Umineko? Like I want to be Shannon. I want to be
real
Shannon.
Umineko. That's what Des meant. No, that's what Des meant. He meant to actually we actually murdered each other.
We actually murdered each other. It's like the meme about the welcome to my Higurashi RP. It's like we need a Mion and then we need a Satoko and like please no more Rika. I'm a Rika.
Yeah, that was I do know that poster because I've seen that poster multiple times. I wish I could find it, but it's a great poster.
Such a fucking
Is that what the original was? Or?
It's that meme. It's that meme and the Erica standing next to Ben Shapiro, which is just like this manlet and his girlfriend. It's like two of my favorite like Higurashi when we cry memes and like of all time.
Yeah, so Des says, thank you all for helping me keep this going. It's still crazy that we're all doing this despite having never met. Which,
I mean, I don't know what he means by that. That's something I read in his bullet point. I was like, I don't know what he means by never met. Like, does he mean it in real life? Or just like,
I guess,
or
yeah.
is he talking to the audience? Or is he
oh,
talking
maybe.
about the audience?
I don't know. I assume he was talking to us, but...
in
I
real
thought
life,
he was talking to us too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I think
technically...
like,
not in
I
real
guess
life.
I think the idea is that like this is actually I don't know if I ever mentioned this before, but I actually think a lot about I am actually very inherently against online friendship, which is really funny for a person to say as a person who has been on a podcast for 4 years. I think like all my life I grew up being very wary of online people and like have never wanted to form online relationships, like friendships or any of the sorts of things with people in general. And it's also like I was like I had a lot of things in my everyday life that I just never felt like I needed to find online friendships. So like the reality is that like this all sounds incredibly funny and ironic because like I cherish doing this podcast so much and like I genuinely feel like I made lots of good friends and I think like it might sound kind of ridiculous because I don't feel like I spend a lot of time with people like outside of this podcast to hang out with people on call, but like I genuinely consider like everybody on this podcast to be a person I actually do care a lot about. It like and then like it's more due to the fact that like I am not very like of an online person who hangs out on call all the time. The fact is that why I don't hang out with people. It feels so funny to say that because I never want people to think that I didn't want to be friends with them. It's purely just like brain chemistry bad. is the
Yeah, like hanging out online on person is a very different vibes and like I don't like I say this because like I don't really hang out with a lot of people in person because I don't really know people in my area that like I hang out with a lot. A lot of people I hang out with is online. I don't want to call myself a chronically online person, but I guess you could call me that. But like a lot of my close friends are people I've met online. But like one day I do hope to meet them in real life. Like that's something like I want to do and hope they're not like doing a long con and catfishing me and like being like just some like Secret Service agent that's like been talking about Umineko for the last 4 years or something.
Oh, speaking about this, I always say this to my friends, and I said, you know, my government assigned FBI agent must love Umineko now. Like he really been like, you know, tuning in to me talking about Umineko. Like, you know, like it's like I have two goals in my life. I either have to like provide my like, you know, government assigned FBI agent like absolute certified madness. Or I need him to like be into Umineko, or both. Like, you know, like it's the kind of inseparable bond that one can have with their like, you know, the cool agents who are listening to my calls every day or something.
By the time your agent is done with you, they will, regardless of whether they like Umineko or not, they will know.
Yeah,
what
they've
happened.
probably been spoiled immediately. They will never experience the true essence of Umineko.
It's quite funny. How unfortunate for them. They could
No,
obviously.
But yeah, Mushroom, I definitely get what you're saying. Like, I'm also someone who like, I make my best friends when like we're doing something. Like, I've always like school friends and university and like work has always been where I've like made my best friends. So like, doing this together is like I definitely regard all of you guys as really close friends.
It's really fun. I think all everyone is close friends. I met great people doing this. You all are wonderful people.
Well, okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we wrap this episode up, I guess?
Yeah, because we talked about episodes we want to do, the episodes we liked. We talked about our favorite moments, right? Like our favorite moments of the last year.
Past, present, future.
Yeah. We have another year. I hope... I've probably said this like 20 times. Like, I hope we do more over the next year. Like, our 5th year is going to be our big year.
It's about getting our shit together.
Because, like, I think we're starting to get our shit together. I feel like I'm more confident in doing editing and doing a lot more. Because, like, I've done 3 recordings in a row, and I feel really proud about that, because like usually I've kind of not been going to recordings, even though I sometimes say I would, but like it's just a thing. But like I feel better about myself, and like especially like I've been thinking about starting up the other project I'm working on, which is the Wholesome Crew, if anybody cares about that, which has Kirby and
Yeah, I mean, honestly speaking, like, if anything, doing projects, keeping yourself busy is a lot of what makes me happy as a person. And I think, like, that is what, like, gets me to keep going.
Yeah.
So, I honestly, I don't have much to say anymore about the episode. That's why. I think, so do anybody else want to say any closing thoughts?
I'm just very grateful to be here. Yeah.
I'll probably ask around if anybody wants to record like some like 4-year anniversary thoughts, and I'll throw it at the end. Like maybe Des can say something. Des did have some.
He loves talking.
The Des manifesto.
Yeah, Des did want to talk about this. Did want to talk about the snippets. But like since he's away for the week, I guess. He's somewhere.
Yeah, we can catch Des on another time.
Yeah, which is like the thing he does every time, which is fair. He has snippets, because there's snippets of. Anytime I edit, I do take snippets of stuff that's out of context that I think is really funny. Like, I think.
Yeah, just horrible noises
like
people make during the episode.
Because like I was editing the forgery episode, and like Horse Fry. I don't know if it's like your accent or you just really misspoke. You said six like sex, and it made me really laugh. And I think it was a misspeaking, not your accent.
No, I think it was my accent. I don't ever remember in my entire life saying sex when I meant to say six. That's like my accent is this weird like sensitive, not sensitive. I'm okay about it, but like I have colleagues who were born in Britain, and like, you know, they have British accents, and like they're always getting on my case about how I say fish and chips, and like they say fush and chups, which I'm like, where are you getting that? That doesn't sound anything. They say that's what I sound like, but
fush,
I don't know.
No, yeah, that's not what I want. That's crazy.
Oh no, sorry, it's fish and chips is what they think I sound like. I got the wrong vowel sound, but yeah, I don't know. I can never understand why people think my accent sounds anything like what the words I'm saying, but maybe that's just because it's because my accent is how I was born.
Because I was just listening, and I was like, oh man, that just sounds really weird. Because I thought it was just a misspeaking, because you just said sex, like clearly sex, but it was like there are sex people on the ground. Because like. You were talking about
those vowel sounds are very similar. Like if you think about their placement in the mouth.
Yeah.
I don't know if any linguistics. Oh.
Yeah, the thing that you were saying is that the one I always think people have a hard time pronouncing is the word pawn shop and porn, and how like the pawn and porn actually depends on how your accent sounds exactly the same. It's like quite funny, just like how like mouth noises are just kind of difficult to like organize when you're like speaking fast, and like oftentimes you can like
not really
speak faster than your brain thinks.
Yeah, you're not thinking about it. You're just speaking like you normally do. You're not being conscious of what words and the sounds coming out of your mouth.
Those two sounds definitely are the exact same in the Kiwi accent. I'll give you that. Like, I don't even
pawn
how do you say that? Pawn shop. Pawn and porn. How would you say it? It's the exact same sound. You just have to be.
Okay.
You just have to pick up from context that you're going to the pawn shop to sell your grand's like wedding ring or something. I don't know.
So like the show Pawn Stars with Ricky.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just.
How would you say that word?
It's just porn stars. Like, I would like. Isn't that? I thought that was the joke. Like, it sounds like porn stars. It's the same thing.
I'm sure it is the joke. It's just less obvious in American accents.
It may be the joke. I never thought about it that way. Because, like, I thought it was, like, stars, like, Pawn Stars. Like, oh, they're in Vegas. They're in, like,
but they
stars.
Do they not?
Like
they don't
That's
speak with the Australian accent.
No.
Do they?
No? What?
It would make zero sense in English. Well, not English, sorry, with an American accent. I don't know why I just said English. Like, I'm thinking that Australians speak a whole different language.
New Zealand.
Now that gives me more... Oh, I'm sorry. That gives me, like, really laugh so hard whenever I see, like... Because there's another show called Hardcore Pop. Like, I can't now. That's now even more funny in my brain.
Yeah, that's intentional.
No, that definitely feels like it's
my favorite New Zealand accent moment is from Flight of the Conchords, where like there's like this racist fruit stand owner who like discriminates against the main characters because he thinks they're Australians, and they like clear it all up. They're like, oh no, our accents are completely different. The Australians are like, where's the car? And we're like, where's the car? But it's the fact you could, I can hear the difference, but I can also tell that there's no difference. This is so funny.
The difference. Yeah.
Accents are really funny. It's quite horrible because I think I might have mentioned this on an episode where I used to know this kid who's like this Indian kid who spoke with a British accent. And everybody, we all like, he was like in the same major as my other friend. So we would keep meeting we'll all see each other in like the computer labs. And so he always spoke with that accent. And then, so we all like assumed that he was like some Indian kid that like went to like England for school. Like, you know, it made a lot of sense. Like, you know, it was a post-colonialized country or something. Anyway, the point is that one day like we just kind of asked him, we were like, how did you like end up with a British accent? And he was like, no, I like grew up in Ohio. Like I just like got really into Harry Potter when I was a kid and then like started speaking with a British accent and then I just couldn't stop doing it.
Oh my
God.
God.
He did it as a bit and then he just couldn't stop and now that's just his accent for the rest of his life. Like
that is the pure definition of doing something ironically and doing it for real.
And I was literally sitting there and thinking, I was like, if my child came home speaking with a British accent, I would be like, we're calling her exorcist. Like, I can't live with you like this.
We're going to get a ruler. You get the ruler. You get slapped.
Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, what do you mean by you're now speaking with a British accent? This is horrible.
I will say, like, it's really hard to like filter out the like. There's aspects of the American accent that I can't get rid of. Like the word ass, right? I say in that, like, so ass, asshole, hard ass. But then I come to say badass, and I can't say it badass. It doesn't feel right. Just that word is so like, I don't know, it's so associated with American stuff that I have to say it in the American accent. It's quite funny. Badass. Yeah. Because we're badass.
This is so well. Now our whole we have went on a whole tangent about accents.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Just added 5 minutes on.
Sorry, I wasn't trying to make fun
of anything. I'm quite.
I
guess I'm quite happy to know that the Kiwi accents about how pawn shop and porn shop sounds like identical is a real thing. It's just not just a fake thing I heard about.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's a good episode. 2 hours and 10 minutes. Longer than I thought it would be. I was like, this is going to be like a 30-minute episode. We're just going to talk about the year. But we talked too long.
I was worried because I'm pretty sure like nobody, including me, like had a plan, but worked out really well.
That's most of my time doing episodes.
No,
I don't go in with
no plan.
Yeah.
Like, the one book club episode I did, I just walked in. I didn't even read. I did parse over what we were doing, but I didn't go out and read Umineko for it.
It's
I
actually
didn't feel like opening Umineko just for it.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny because, like, I feel like I'm always the opposite because I'm like, Des, I'm sending you points, and Des is like, I'm sending you points, and I was like, okay, we're gonna go through all these points by the end of the episode. It just really shows that, like, I honestly think that the episode, the podcast is really fun due to the fact that it is comprised of very different kinds of people who bring very different kinds of energy to the podcast. Like, you know, if we all like are the most organized people, like it would also make the spontaneity of the podcast like less fun. Like, you know, I think like that's what's valuable about it.
We wouldn't really have these bits because it would just be like, oh, this happens and this happens, and like we get into like even though like we do discuss like deeper topics of each like of Umineko and Higurashi and Ciconia, like there are still like we still have fun with it and do interesting things. And I would say even though at least for me, I would say like I think I have 90%. If I'm talking about something, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Like I'm just sometimes pulling his stuff from my ass sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
But yes. Any ending thoughts before we close out?
Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Thank you so much for
enjoy more. Hopefully, we have more episodes coming out.
Cheers to 4 more years.
Yeah.
I believe if this comes out on our anniversary, stay tuned for 3 days from now because the forgery episode will be out. Hopefully, if I'm done with it.
And also, stay tuned for whatever horrible thing that Yukishi is going to announce. So we can all get in the comment section if we get this out on the day of the anniversary. Like, not anniversary, but if we get this day out, you know, right around Umineko Day. I don't necessarily know if we're going to be able to squeeze it out, but we can all, you know, get incredibly happy or mad about whatever horrible decision that Yukishi decides to give us. And that is honestly...
It's going to be nothing. Like... Des literally says this in a tweet where, like, he gets us all hyped up for no reason and then hyped up about some big announcement and then says, oh, it's like a manga. Like, what was the last announcement he was hyping up? Because he was hyping an announcement for August. What did he announce?
I don't remember.
That's how bad it was. Yeah, I'll look at it afterwards.
Anyway.
It doesn't really matter because if we don't remember, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, good. I don't know. Good morning. Good night. Class dismissed, I guess.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for watching this wonderful episode, and thank you so much for watching the last 4 years. If you haven't, that's fine. Before we go and into this episode, I do want to do some shout-outs. Before we get to a very special message from Des himself, who couldn't make it out to this recording. I want to shout out somebody in our community Discord made a fun little game called Umineko-related. If you've seen our music guessing episode from a few years back, we would guess Umineko OST by the comments on the videos, and Leonix decided to make that into an actual game you can play on the browser. I sound like an old man saying that, but Umineko-related is on there. We'll have the link down in the description if you want to play. You can play any of the things. I think they're updated daily. I'm unsure, but you feel free to check it out. It's a really fun time. Some of our comments are in there. Maybe some of your comments are in there if you've commented on the Umineko OST. But now I leave you off from a now special message from our friend Des.
It's yet another anniversary and yet another year where we released even less episodes. Congratulations! It's getting harder. It gets harder every year. We are releasing very few episodes, but we are releasing them, and with how little free time we all have to record and edit, it's still impressive that we still managed to record and edit. I myself haven't edited in months, but other people have. I guess all I want to say is that we are doing it very slowly, and each year it gets slower, but we are doing it. So even if it takes another 4 years, like you may have a 6-month gap in between book club episodes, but they will keep coming out. That's a good thing, and I hope you're there for it.